All right. Good morning, guys. Good afternoon if you're on the mainland. In the East Coast, it's about 12 o'clock. It's lunchtime on the mainland. It's about 6 a.m. here in Honolulu. We cashed out our cues this morning at the open. We got a nice little 30% on that trade. We're still sitting in the energy trade. A little bit of bad news today, right? The PPI came out 6.6%. So let me kind of fill you in on what's going to happen tomorrow with the Fed, because you're seeing articles all over the place, right? You're just seeing all these crazy articles. We saw it on CNBC this morning right here. I'll share this with you. You guys will enjoy this. Let's pop on over to screen sharing. You can see there a full rundown of what to expect from the Federal Reserve on Wednesday. Also, too, there's an article here on all these different ways you can play tomorrow. Really, there's only one way to play tomorrow, and I'm going to tell you right now. So tomorrow, what's going to happen is the Fed is going to have to decide. Are they going to save the economy, or are they going to save the stock market? If they're going to save the economy, they're going to have to taper, and they're going to have to start looking at this inflation. If they're going to save the stock market, they're going to placate the market like they have been the last few months, and they're not going to mention much. So that's what's going to happen. If they do save the market, the inflation is going to go out of control. We've talked about it over the last couple of months, right? Hyperinflation, things like that. And this writing's on the wall, whether you like it or not. It's just bad policy. You know what I mean? We've made Russia happy. We've made China happy. We've made Great Britain and the G7 happy. But what have we done for America? Not much. You can feel the tension. You can feel the tension in this country right now. Rising prices, all this hate talk, right, from your media, right? Nobody ever talks about the progress we've made from the country, whether it's racism or anything at all, right? We never talk about the progress. We talk about how bad of a country we are and how terrible of a people we are, but we know that's not true. The tension's rising. You see it. There's shootings all over the place. There's fights. You go on Instagram, all you see is people fighting at stores, fighting over masks. We're a very divided country right now. And it's because of your politicians, and it's because of your media. The rubber is about to hit the road. And like I said, it'll start tomorrow with the Fed. They're going to have to decide, are you going to save the economy, right, and address this inflation and start getting in tune with the things that you need, tapering, rate increases, things like that? Or are you going to placate and save the market and sacrifice the economy? I'm going to remind you guys, tax increases don't just come through laws. They don't just come through ledgers, tax ledgers, right? One of the biggest and most fearful tax increases the American population can face is inflation, right? Because you think about it, you're still making what, maybe 20 bucks an hour, but now all of a sudden a gallon of milk's double, gallon of gas is double, gallon of this is double. For the restaurants, for the businesses, right? It takes more to make a pair of Nikes. You might say, well, this doesn't change how much they pay the guy making the Nikes in some sweatshop in China, right? But it's got to get on a boat, and there's fuel, and there's a cost for shipping, right? And that's inflation, and that's a tax increase. Really, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, all we needed to do as a country was just reopen. That's all we had to do. Reopen and adjust rates so that the Federal Reserve matched. And it just didn't, it's not happening right now. We'll find out more tomorrow. Like I said, we took those cues off the board this morning. We'll stick with the energy play because gas pushed $72. That thing's going to be triple digits by the end of summer. And that's another thing that the Fed's going to have to face. Now, if the Fed decides that they're going to start talking tapering and things, the first thing it's going to hit are these high valuations. Valuations come into play. Lack of dividends, right? No reason to keep a stock that stops moving up if it's not paying you dividends, right? Especially if it's trading at a P/E of 400%, right? Or 400, right? A PE. And some of those are in the thousands. So that's the way we're playing it right now. We opened up another short today. I'll let you know what the short is tomorrow after our members have had time to buy theirs. But we're going to see if we can make some quick money on this Fed meeting tomorrow. over time, I want to just kind of talk to everybody because, one of the things you see with all these people that do what we do with these updates and stuff is the fear porn, right? Remember, if your portfolio is set up correctly, if you have some great stocks in there, and then you use your options, right? So that you can add a little steroid growth to things, but those are position plays, right? You might be playing the market up, you might be playing the market down, you might be playing a particular stock or a particular news cycle on that stock, right? Or that asset, right? If you're set up correctly, like our members are, you don't have to worry about that. We did it through the COVID, we did it through the Brexit, we did it through the recession talk, everything, the big rallies, the big sell-offs, right? And we talked about it in December, right? We had one of our worst option periods in the history of this company in 7 or 8 years in December. But if you look at our portfolios still grew, and it was because the rest of our portfolio was set up properly. So it still took advantage of that big rally and stuff like that. Plus, too, we're getting massive dividends, right? So we're making money like that. So don't panic and don't go into this fear mode. It's just another day in the market, but you have to be aware of what's happening, and that's what's happening right now. So again, we're going to remind people there's a great list of stock of the weeks that you can choose from. If you don't have time to research your own, we own those, and we'll continue to own those, except for the Playboy. I think with Playboy we cashed out. But everything else on there has great dividends and they're great balance sheets, and they'll weather this storm. Remember something, guys, before you fall into the fear porn, the pounding of the table, sell your Bitcoin, it's the end of the world. Just remember, guys, there's never been a 10-year period in the stock market where it didn't start here and 10 years later it was higher. No matter what's happened in the economy, no matter what's happened in the world, no matter what's happened in the financial world, just remember that patience is your best friend, and a well-managed portfolio by yourself. It's not impossible for you to manage your own portfolio well. You need help with that? Click the link and come on into the program. If not, just keep watching the show. So look, guys, we took up this short this morning. We cashed out those Qs at a nice 30% this morning. We took up a little bit of short. We're going to try and make a little bit of money on this weakness in the market. We think it's just going to get weaker into that meeting, and then we'll see what the Fed says, and that'll be a rubber hits the road moment for the market. Again, if they do start talking tapering, your first stocks that will start getting really hit hard are going to be your high valuations. And that's the reason is, as this economy, as they start tapering, you don't have that steroid growth of the bond buying, the real estate buying, and all this other stuff. You don't have that synthetic liquidity is what we call it. So now a stock has to stand on its own 2 feet. Other than that, guys, let's see what the Fed says. Okay. Again, don't go into panic mode and don't get freaked out. It's just another day in the life, and we'll see how it turns out. Okay, guys. So look, we cashed out those Qs in the morning. We're still holding those energy plays, the MRO, the ET. ET's having a rough day today. Suncor's having a good day. It's holding that 25 real well through these market conditions. And the MRO is doing real well. And we're all the way out to September on those anyways. And oil's doing great, right? It pushed 72 today. It pulled off a little bit. Remember what happened at 70. Remember what happened at 65. It hits these things. It gets a little soft, and then it just moves up. It's got to re-energize before it does. Before we let you go, let's go take a look at the markets, and we'll talk a little bit about Bitcoin. Let's get a refresh here. And you can see markets looking a little ugly. The NASDAQ's picked up a little bit in the last hour or a half hour. Your VIX is not flashing at 20 yet, so we'll see how that shakes out. Dow's down about 0.5%. S&P's down about 0.25%, and the NASDAQ's down about a little bit over 0.5%. The small caps are not participating now. You can see the Russell's down about 1%. Sometimes they're a good forward indicator. Sometimes it'll be a head fake, though. Other than that, let's pop on over to gold. Your inflation protection, right? The big debate. Is Bitcoin and cryptos the new inflation protection? Well, we'll take a look at cryptos in just a second. But you can see what we're talking about, those round numbers. You see how gold, it went up to that 1900, that nice round number. It pulled back, and now it looks like 1850 is either your support or it's going to be your cliff moment. Silver, we don't watch these that much. Let's pop on over to oil. Oh, how's that oil? Up another percent today. Oil just keeps moving up. You know, you can live and die on every little tick. You can live and die on every little news thing. But you see what we're talking about. Consumption is happening, and consumption is furiously strong right now. You see, all of a sudden, for the last 2 days on CNBC, it was oil down because Iran deal might go through. Now all of a sudden it's the opposite. Well, guess what? That was about $5 or $10 ago a barrel there. CNBC, good job. And let's pop on over to the cryptos. Let's go see what's happening in the crypto world. You can see Bitcoin's taking that 40,000 back. Now, we were watching somebody on Charles Payne yesterday. You guys know we love Charles Payne. Great show, great information. He had a young lady on there talking about cryptos, and we think she's right. She's talking about 4,100. Or 41,000 is the number for crypto for Bitcoin. And you can see Ethereum still doing well after that pullback. It's still holding that 2,500 level and stuff like that. As far as crypto goes, we've talked about it before, right? Here we were looking at Twitter over here. Let's pop on over to our Bitcoin chart. And we've been talking about it, how we charted this whole thing from the sell down. And you see it's playing true. We said, you know, we got our capitulation, we got our retest, we got our little pushback, right? And then we consolidated. We're in this buying channel, and now we're above that channel. You can see how it's right above that red line there at about 39, maybe about 3,900, 39,000. Not used to those thousands, right, guys, when we're talking about stocks and assets. But you can see this chart's playing true. It broke the downtrend, easily broke the downtrend. We're now trading above the moving average. You know, we heard a big talk about last week was the big worry with crypto last week was, of course, the death cross. When you can see how that worked out. Cryptos are a little different with the charting. We take things with a grain of salt on the chart. You notice how we only have one moving average on our chart. We don't do the double moving average like we do on other charts. And the reason is we've seen it in the past. Your death cross, your golden crosses and things like that, and your moving averages just don't quite play out like they do on a normal stock and stuff. So we've done some adjustments when we've learned about crypto, and you can see the MACD starting to pick up here real nice. The RSI is getting a little nice and feisty, and it looks like some buy-ins come in. It's had some good news too. Druckenmiller's leading a small group, putting 70 million into crypto, and of course MicroStrategy is selling like $100 billion worth of stock to buy some crypto. Interesting, right? That should tell you a lot, that a company is selling its stock to move the money into crypto, right? Interesting, very interesting story. So look, guys, let's see what the Fed says tomorrow, right? Like I said, we're a little short on a play. We took up a little short today to try and make some money here. I'll let you know tomorrow morning what it is. Other than that, we're in wait and see mode to see how the old Fed comes along here. So again, bad policy. We've made everybody else happy, right? Let's be honest. The Russians are happy. The Chinese are happy. The Brits are happy. The Eurozone, the G7, whoever that is happy. They got their 15% corporate tax rate, right? So blah, 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 blah. Everybody's happy except the American public right now. They're paying on inflation, right? Anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, okay? Again, don't let this be doom and gloom. Don't let this be fear porn. It's not intended to be. It's just seriously analyzing a market and what's going on with politics and things like that. So let's see how things shake out. All right, gang? Okay, I'll see you guys in the morning.